Dozens of families in Section 8 housing have just a few months to find a new place to live. The San Antonio Housing Authority is cutting ties with the property manager who oversees their homes in the subsidized housing program. Phil Anaya joins us live with this. And Phil, why is this happening?
Well, SAHA says it's cutting ties with this specific property manager because he's engaging in fraudulent activity. The property manager says he's innocent, and this move by SAHA will burden dozens of people.
There's people behind the scenes that are orchestrating this smear campaign because I'm going after them.
George Alejos, who is also a LULAC activist, says the San Antonio Housing Authority is out to get him, retaliating because in the past he's gone to the SAHA board with issues some families have with the Housing Authority. SAHA interim president and CEO David Nisivoccia says they have good reason to cut ties with Alejos. SAHA says Section 8 constituents have complained about Alejos, which led them to investigate him and claim he's been engaging in fraudulent behavior.
We had 12 complaints, so we investigated those 12 complaints. Of those 12, we had 5 activities where we kept the deposits, approximately about $500 or 5% of our clients' income. So it's a large portion of their income based upon circumstances that weren't warranted.
Now that SAHA is cutting ties with Alejos and the 17 homes he manages, those families will have 75 days to find a new place. SAHA says it will pay for all moving expenses.
We feel for them. That's why we want to cover their moving expenses.
Uprooting their families and finding another house is going to be a very traumatic experience for them, and they don't want to go through that.
And Alejos says he has stepped down as property manager for those 17 homes and plans to meet with a lawyer later this week to see if there's any basis for a lawsuit against SAHA. SAHA says it stands by its investigation and is comfortable with its position. Reporting live, Phil Anaya, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Next I have George Alejos.
Now that package that Ms. Nisivoccia just handed out consists of 3 very important documents. The first document, Mr. Chairman Stribling, is a letter from Attorney General Ken Paxton to Benjamin Lugg in response to Mr. Lugg's opinion as to whether or not they have to release information to you. The letter is self-explanatory, so if you have the time to peruse through it later, you're going to find that everything that Mr. Lugg alleged in his opinion, or his question opinion, actually came back and was ordered by Ken Paxton to give the information up, which I have not received. From September to now, it took me 4 months to get the information, which you all apparently had and acted on when you allowed these people to expel me, my wife, and my sister from the program. Well, now that we got the information, it's irrefutable that the information that was used to make that decision is questionable, because the second document is a letter from Ken Paxton to Mr. Stan Mitchell. In that letter advising Mr. Mitchell that he has the option to go and possibly file a complaint with the DA at the DA's office here in San Antonio and file criminal charges against SAHA's failure to respond within the timeline that they're supposed to. The third and most important document there, Mr. Stribling, is a letter from Mr. Kenneth Gross law firm. They're going to be representing me, my wife, and my sister against what you all did to me when you terminated us from the program. And I'm telling you now that based on the information, the testimony, the evidence that we've accumulated, your case was very weak. I wish you had treated me, Chairman Stribling, much like you did your friend Ivy Taylor, and allowed me to move my 20 families from the San Antonio Housing Authority Section 8 program to Bexar County Housing. That way those 20 families would not have been impacted and forced to move under duress and anxiety during the Christmas holidays. The fact is, I still have 4 of those families still with me. They're going to continue to remain as tenants, even though I'm not getting paid from SAHA until we're going to court. But again, if you had treated me like you treated your friend Ivy Taylor, we would not be here today. I'm still doing business with Bexar County Housing. You all go by the same federal guidelines, code of federal regulations that they do. If they see fit to still continue doing business with me, why is it SAHA? Because you all acted on information that now is going to prove that it was unfounded, because of the 12 complaints that David Nisivoccia mentioned on KENS 5 and television stations. He only furnished you with 11 complaints, which you have in your possession. Of those 11 complaints, 4 are tenants for the estate of Eddie Simmons and Julius Gosenbacher. Yet hopefully they were terminated from Section 8 because I was the same property manager for him as I was for my wife and my sister. The other two have to do with Deborah Austin, a broker, has been indicted and is going to court for what she did to Ms. McBurney. He took that complaint. So out of the 11 complaints that I was given, actually 4 are only mine, and out of the 4 that you all got, they go back 5 years ago, 2011, 2012. Why is Ms. Kirkendall and David coming up with these 4 or 5-year-old complaints to try to justify terminating me from the program? That's information you have in your possession now. You've been advised by Mr. Grubbs what we plan to do next. My suggestion is that we meet and mediate this thing before we go to court. Thank you.
Thank you.